So, Deputy Speaker, I take this opportunity as well to condemn all forms of anti-Semitism. There is no place for that in our country. I similarly condemn Islamophobia. I condemn all forms of racial and religious vilification. That's what we do in this country. That's why Australia is the most successful multicultural country in the world.
And give the call to the honourable member for Hughes.
Thank you. Deputy Speaker, it has been said that the only thing necessary for evil to prevail is for good people to do nothing. Evil will prevail when good people say nothing. And, Deputy Speaker, that was said long before the Holocaust, although has often been used to attempt to explain in some way how 80 years ago the Nazis were able to murder 6 million Jewish people. Evil prevailed back then, Deputy Speaker, because many who should have done or said something remained silent. Evil is what occurred on the 7th of October of this year in Israel. And I stand here to call out that evil. I stand here as well in support and to endorse the motion brought by the Prime Minister earlier this week, contents of his motion, which has bipartisan support. And I also support the comments made by the Leader of the Opposition in support of that motion. Deputy Speaker, it needs to be remembered that on the 7th of October 2023 was a day in which more Jewish people were murdered in a single day than on any other day since the Holocaust. I first want to extend my deepest condolences to the people of Israel during this very difficult time. Also to the many Jewish families, the many Jewish Australians who have family and friends in Israel. I use this opportunity to express my unequivocal support for the State of Israel and particularly for its inherent right to defend itself. This was very clear in the bipartisan motion that we heard on Monday. I defend the right of Israel to defend itself after being savagely and barbarically attacked by Hamas. Hamas is a recognised terrorist organisation, Deputy Speaker. Hamas has committed a unilateral act of war against the people of Israel, against the State of Israel. And when we have heard about and seen the atrocities that have been committed, I say that Hamas has committed and continues to commit acts of extreme inhumanity. The murder of innocent men, women and children, kidnapping of civilians, missiles raining down on cities, young people massacred at a music festival, wide-scale sexual assault of women and girls. Deputy Speaker, Hamas exists with one intention: the destruction of the Jewish people, the destruction of the State of Israel. Hamas has no interest in a peaceful two-state solution where people of different faiths live and work in peace, safety and harmony. Hamas is an enemy of Israel. By instigating this war, by its sheer brutality, it has also demonstrated that it cares nothing for the people of Palestine. It's using innocent Palestinians as human shields. Its actions have led directly to the humanitarian crisis now unfolding in the Gaza. It is hard to come to any other conclusion, Deputy Speaker, except to the most obvious of conclusions, that when Hamas launched this attack on Israel, it knew that Israel was going to respond, as Israel has a right to do. The very people of Palestine that Hamas purports to represent, it is now inflicting untold damage upon. Evil prevails where good people do not act, Deputy Speaker. And when reflecting on that proposition and on the dreadful events that have unfolded and will continue to unfold, evil often has its roots in much smaller demonstrations of prejudice. And part of the motion that was brought on Monday, part of that motion said, we recognise an attack on any religion is an attack on all religions, and that we all share a responsibility to unite, condemn and defeat such an attack on our common values and our way of life. That is certainly a value that is inherent to us here in Australia. So, Deputy Speaker, I take this opportunity as well to condemn all forms of anti-Semitism. There is no place for that in our country. I similarly condemn Islamophobia. I condemn all forms of racial and religious vilification. That's what we do in this country. That's why Australia is the most successful multicultural country in the world. Since its formation in 1948, Deputy Speaker, Israel has had to continue to fight every day for its very existence. It is the internationally recognised home of the Jewish people. Australia and Israel enjoy a friendship based on many similar underlying principles. Israel is a multi-party democracy. It supports the rule of law, freedom of worship. And as a nation, we must continue to defend our friend. We must be united, strident and completely uncompromising when it comes to condemning what has happened. Deputy Speaker, in this place we often disagree across the chamber on policy, on politics, on the best way to deliver for the Australian people. But on this issue, the Coalition stands united with the government. And I have seen in only my 16 months in this place that the best is achieved in this place when we come together, and we come together when the occasion calls for it, when there is an issue of such import that it calls for a unified approach, for consoling words, for compassionate tone. That is what I have seen this week from government MPs, coalition MPs and most of the crossbench MPs. However, Deputy Speaker, there is something I have to call out. The actions that we have seen from those on the Greens in this place, I did not think I could be surprised, I must say, about any actions taken or words spoken by the Greens party. However, this was not the case on Monday. On Monday, the Leader of the Greens indicated that his party would not support the bipartisan motion. But then they went further, Deputy Speaker. They sought amendments to erase the statement that Israel has a right to defend itself. This lack of moral code that exists within the Greens party was clear for Australia to see. Similarly, Deputy Speaker, the actions by others in this place that supported those amendments, the member for Clark, and those from my home state, those whom I was surprised about, the member for Mackellar, the member for North Sydney, in supporting the Greens' proposed amendment was conduct that was equally reprehensible, grossly insulting to Jewish people and, in my view, not worthy of this place. Out of step with the sentiments expressed within this place and out of step with the feelings of most Australians. Deputy Speaker, I take this opportunity to conclude that despite the most difficult times being faced by Israel, by the Israeli people and by innocent people within Palestine, I am confident that the values that are embodied within the State of Israel, those of faith, of democracy, of religious freedom, of the rule of law, of tolerance, of perseverance and compassion will prevail. Thank you.
I thank the honourable member for her contribution.